People who were on show like Supernanny, World's Strictest Parents, or Scared Straight, what was the experience like? And what was the aftermath? My friend was on Supernanny. They don't actually do anything, it's just acting. He and his brother are still exactly the same as they were before. I feel like South Park's edition of Supernanny would be more accurate. He spit in my mouth. It's best not to get on his level. There is no trial too tough for Supernanny. In just 3 days' time, you're going to see a new Eric Cartman. Supernanny Joe Frost, 3 days before she starts eating her own feces. That makes me sad. Like, I know reality TV is everywhere, but it is all fake. Ugh. Is Joe a bitch in real life? I saw a comment a long time ago. If it was real, it would be called a documentary. I went to high school with a kid who was on Supernanny when he was like 11. Apparently him and his sister's behavior weren't all that bad, and that one day a camera crew just showed up at his house. He also told me they were trying to force an emotional scene where he would hug his mom and say he loves her forever or something, and he was like, no, that's gay, and they were like, please, and he was like, no. They settled on love you mom. I love you son, Lamau, okay Gaylord. This reminds me of a Marine I know that tried to get on a cooking show. I can't remember which one, but he was talented and qualified to be on the show. They wanted him to cry about his divorce on camera, which he refused. They didn't select him. From all the second-hand accounts, it seems like a lot of forced emotional and editing manipulation. Obviously this is not surprising for reality TV, but the fact that producers are pushing that on kids who really can't consent to that is really Edit, like literally every story I've read says, those kids I knew on it weren't so bad. Just regular kids. The fact that the parents are pushing that just to get on TV is what's really I knew a girl who was on Scared Straight. After the show she ended up addicted to heroin and going to rehab. Hope she got her life together. I guess she was scared left. Right? No, left. No, this is Patrick. I'm pretty sure there's numerous studies showing Scared Straight extremely rarely, if ever, works. A single trip to a penitentiary will not suddenly undo years of negligence and bad habits instilled in a child. Parents should be the ones scared straight into being more active role models and learning about proper parenting skills. I was taken to the juvenile jail to get scared straight by my dad when I was 11. The jailer harassed me and got off on being an asshole. All it did was have me lose trust in my dad and make me hate cops more. One of my friends in grade school was on Nanny 911 as a kid, maybe around 5 years old. There were a lot of kids in her family, and one of the biggest problems the nanny had with their household was safety. She baby-proofed the entire house and lectured them on safety precautions they have to take in their lives to ensure that the children wouldn't get hurt. She even gave them all helmets to wear whenever they rode bikes or four-wheelers. After she left, a lot of the safety precautions went out of the window, and later my friend told me that they still had the helmets, but they were all sitting in a dusty corner. I remember that episode. I don't understand parents who don't make their kids wear helmets. You must have never visited the Netherlands. I hate those child-proof knob things. Nearly pissed myself with them at a family member's house. Then it cut my hand. Should have asked an adult for help. So you're saying it worked? I'm a little bit late to this one. but my younger siblings, mother, and then stepfather were on a program in the UK called Mums on Strike in the mid-2000s. The premise was that the mother would be sick of doing everything around the house, and would be whisked away to a luxury spa for a weekend, leaving the clueless father in charge of trying to take care of the household duties. A lot of the conversations and scenarios were faked. I supposedly visited them for the weekend, but I did multiple different shoots across a few hours on the last day of filming, then went back home. They'd cause fights between the siblings by purposely creating situations where one was favored over the other, so the others would throw a tantrum. There was a shoot on location in our local town center, and they encouraged my little brother to run off into all sorts of different shops, causing hilarity as my stepfather tried chasing after him with 2 other children in tow. Mealtimes were a bit of a farce as well as it was a weekend. My stepfather had to cook a traditional roast dinner. The production company intentionally supplied incorrect ingredients to make sure my stepfather looked like an idiot. They filmed my reaction to him trying to add beans to the roast a few different times, so they could pick the best one. In the end, after they'd got all the footage they wanted, they sent one of the production team out to the chippy to get us some actual edible food. TL Doctor contrived, exaggerated, sometimes faked, full of drama. Did they know beforehand what it would be like? Nobody in my family knew what we were getting ourselves into. It was definitely a completely different experience to what is shown on the TV though. I really dislike this idiot dad narrative that a lot of media pushes. It's not only in that it says that men are stupid, but also in that it assumes women's place is managing the household. This show was sexist and bad for men and women alike. And that they faked it all was really the icing on the cake. It's been an hour. I guess those people were not real. Give them time, Desi, maybe their parents haven't gone to bed yet. We'll get here, we are just busy relapsing and walking on sunshine. Well, it's also quite likely that people on those shows have to sign pretty strict NDAs, particularly as many of them are scripted while being presented in a reality documentary format. There was a family in my high school who were on Supernanny. The oldest was a friend of mine and said that nothing changed at all. So real people, fake results. Like 3 years ago, I lived in a big 5-bedroom house with 4 other friends in college. The house was in an episode of Supernanny. We found out because our nice neighbor literally gave us a signed headshot from Joe Frost as a gift out of the blue. He literally told us, "I think y'all would like this more than me and get a kick out of it." It made our weekend. We found the episode online and watched it. I asked about the family to the neighbor as our house was rented out and owned by a property company. He told me after the show the parents fought all the time, lost all of their money due to 2008 crisis, and lost the house to foreclosure. The picture stayed on our mantle for 3 years and I thought about that family every time. It was all nice and wholesome and then it crashed and burned at the end. My childhood home had been in a famous episode of a famous old TV show. I'd dox myself if I said which. It was so odd watching it. It was filmed before we bought it and my parents remodeled it. So it was weird seeing how it looked when we first bought it. Seeing all the old stuff. And also my neighborhood. The outside of my best friend's house was also featured heavily in the episode. My parents loved pointing out bits they personally remodeled. I remember pulling that out. Ugh, remember that awful wallpaper? That sort of thing. The funniest part was that they pretended a closet door was a bathroom door in the show. My parents actually built a bathroom there, before ever seeing the episode. So it was really head-spinning to see that.